Recorded.
Did you guys hear that too?
I did, yep.
Wow, that's interesting. That's the first time I've heard it that way. They've been doing a lot of changes to WebEx. All right, so let me actually pull up the screen so that you have a perspective. But before I do, can I ask you, so what do you think it is, or do you just, I mean, is it like unclear, like what carousels are and all that good stuff?
Well, no, she showed me an example from a different dealer, and I said, okay, that's fine. But then, you know, I just feel like we feed so much information out there, and we totally kind of, I don't know, I think we need to have one desire instead of trying to push so much out.
Right. I would have to agree. And so let's talk about that. So I'm going to give you an example, and we're going to bring up H&H Chev here in a second, but I just want to show you what it looks like perhaps on another dealership, right? So okay. You see the browser, I assume, right?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Can you see this dealership now?
Yep, Lone Star.
Perfect. So this view you won't see. So this is actually Search Console, just a heads up. But this is the data that Google sees as far as like your clicks, impressions, and what your average position is for that particular search, all right? I think I can give you access if you're ever curious, because I forget if you love data or not. And if you do, this is sometimes interesting. But I just want to make sure you know this is not what the search and results page looks like. It usually starts here, and it's up there, if that makes sense.
Right.
So here is the Google My Business, and why I was saying there's a lot of things here, and like you just mentioned, which I love the fact that we're on the same page on that, is that Google is trying to literally take over, if that makes sense, because it makes sense for them to own everything, because as they own everything, then eventually they can charge you. But they are coming out right now saying they won't do that, but there might be some premium features is what the rumor is. And so so we'll see how that goes, and we'll see how basically, you know, things work out for you guys. But like I said too in the email, or I'm not sure if you saw it, and I can actually show you some other data that supports it, and I've seen it for 3 years at least, is this is usually the #1 source of traffic for your website, meaning it's about 45%, but we can actually look at that here in a second on Search Console. So about 45% click into this button right here, website. And we can tell because if you hover over it, down below, you'll see the URL. So I don't know if you can see it down there. And you see it says Chevrolet. Yep. That is a specific tagged URL that will tell us that it's coming from here. And so I'm going to show you that here in a little bit, but I just wanted to highlight that real quickly. Well, anyway, let's get to the carousels real quickly too. So we're talking about this, all right? And so it starts off, I mean, again, it's a little bit different view because it's kind of like an editor view, whereas consumers probably see it differently. And I'm happy to show you that view too. But what we're going to do is we're going to jump into the back end, and I'll show you how this is produced. But you can see you can have, I think, up to 10 is what the, I think, max is. And people can potentially go through this. So think of this as maybe a different version of this VSR. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Or maybe a little bit different version of VDP. I don't know. You could argue multiple things because originally this wasn't necessarily for cars, right? It wasn't necessarily for auto dealerships. But what they are doing, and as Google gets smarter and smarter, or rather gets savvier and savvier, they start to realize they need to, and they've probably been planning this for a long time, is they need to work on specific verticals, meaning specific industries, right? And so the Google My Business is changing for each industry and each type of business. And that's why on the back end, which we're going to jump in here in a second, they ask you for categories, which I think I showed you on the last time we were on the call, right?
Right.
But we'll talk about it again. And I'm going to stop right there. Any questions thus far?
No.
Okay, so it's pretty clear. Good. So I'm going to jump into your guys' account. So here we are, jumping in. And as you saw last time, there's a bunch of different things we can play with, but the main one is the info. So if you jump into info, basically this is where you can actually see some of the information. Oops, sorry. Large screen, so I just want to make sure you can see it like almost in the same perspective. It's probably what you see. So here's those categories I was talking about. So I've maxed you guys out. Like there's 10 categories here, and the goal is to get you as much visibility. Whether or not there's a direct one-to-one correlation to putting these in versus your visibility, that's still up in the air because Google, like I said, is trying to do things, but I'll be honest, it's half-ass in the way that they've done things. And that specific department is really going, it's having a lot of, I don't know how to describe it, but they're starting to realize, I think, that this is such a huge thing. They're ramping up, and the quality of people that they have in that department are creating issues or problems for the general populace. And sorry if this is a commentary, but it's more for your understanding, because what I've seen is sometimes when people are doing brand name search, let's say they search H&H Chev, sometimes I've seen with other dealerships like auto parts showing up here.
Okay.
Which is terrible because it doesn't give them the right phone number, and just the whole experience is down. And I can even show you the impact, which just killed that dealership's traffic for a month, or at least 20 days. And so my point is that the back end it's moving very fast. These features are going like they're excited about them, but they're not necessarily being perfect about it. So everything we talk about and do, just understand it's in flux. All right.
Okay.
So that's that. But now you can see down here, you see products and services, okay? So now the interesting thing that I have to say in my commentary is, like, what are we talking about? Products is obviously cars, I believe, and then services would be the things in your fixed ops, right?
Right.
But let me click on products for you real quick. So here, then they start giving you fixed ops, suggestions, right? Or at least the oil. Well, sorry, maybe not necessarily fixed ops. These are actual products. But my question to you is, with 10 different, potential cards or whatever you want to call them, like these things right here, each of these are single. Like when you click on it, this should pop up. Do you see that?
Right. Okay. Yep.
Do you want to do tires? Do you want to do spare tires or oil? Or do you want to do straight up cars? Because that's what the Carousel, in their mind, I think it was originally like products like this for Amazon or whatever the case may be, but these are also small businesses, right? We're not talking about Amazon, because the Amazon's search console, the Amazon's knowledge graph is much different from this. So, but for you guys moving forward, and sorry, I'm talking about a lot of different things, what do you think would work best for you? Because, I mean, you can see with my other dealers, we just put cars and trucks. What do you want?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, we already have them in there as
Right.
offers.
Right.
So, I mean,
right.
how many times can you send it out there?
Well, this is part of my dilemma. It's because it's already in there. It's also in the autos, sites, right? Your Dealer Rater and all those other, kind of auto-related sites, because their
Right.
goal is to show it again and leverage SEO so that they can charge you, right? So, Cox does this a lot. That's why they bought all those different sites, or they own those sites, is they're trying to take away the search from you to charge you as a secondary source. I don't know. And so then this is another redundancy, but because it's the number one clicked here, which I think is kind of problematic, because people perceive it as very, significant, but the rest of the stuff they don't look at, or they don't, sorry, let me take that back. They look at hours, or I think hours is pretty important because of the mobile interface. You know what I mean? Because on mobile, this looks different. And on mobile, and just the general intuition for anybody is like, they're looking for you. So let's do that real quick. And I can show you two different views. I'll try to get you a mobile view, but it takes a long time whenever I do it. So let me do this again. Let's do H&H Chev. H&H Chevrolet or Chevy. And Shippensburg, can you remind me again? I apologize because
PA, yeah.
Shippensburg.
You're right. S-B-U-R-G.
Okay, S-B-U-R-G. Okay, and PA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and sorry, like I said, I have so many states and cities in my head that sometimes I forget. Okay, anyway, so obviously what you see, or hopefully you see on your end, and actually I kind of like that picture because sometimes it doesn't even show up in a good way in that way. It's good that your ratings are basically above, the 4-point range. That's all good. But I would argue, like I said, and good. So I did this for you guys too. So this is called nesting. You see this?
Mhm.
So now when consumers come to your Google My Business, they don't always have to go to the service one to figure out the service hours. And so this is a new kind of quote unquote trend. And so it's actually kind of smart because it's like what Costco does, right? Because they have like 15 different departments. You want to talk or you want to know what a specific department's hours are. And your service department obviously is a little bit different, right? And so I requested this from the Google My Business department, and they actually did it, which I'm kind of shocked. Sometimes it takes them like literally 8 months. So I'm glad they did it for you. So happy to see this. Have you seen this one before? Know this place?
No.
Okay, so this is really important, I think. And why I say that is when you click on this, it says, is there wheelchair accessible parking? Well, it's actually answered here, just so you know. On the back end, it says amenities, right? And so we can actually click these, and I will. Let's just do it real quick. 24-hour service drop-off, yes?
Yep.
Okay. Certified factory trained technicians, yes?
Yep.
Free cost estimates?
Yep.
Free loaner?
Yep.
Online scheduling?
Yep.
Price?
Yeah, I mean, we do it on tires and stuff, so I'd say yeah.
Cool. Secured lot?
What do they mean by secured lot?
It basically means all your cars have some form of security, like cameras or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's fine. Yep.
Yeah. Is Mickey a veteran, or is anybody in your management a veteran?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have women in your leadership?
Yep.
Okay, that's awesome. You're hitting them all. Auto detailing?
Yes.
Car rental?
What do they consider car rental? I mean, we have courtesy transportation vehicles that they have that we give out. Yep. So, I mean, I guess, sure.
Would you also, like in some situations, because obviously the cost to you guys, charge them like $59.99 or something like that?
Yeah, we don't do that.
Okay. So let me think if this is good or bad if you have it. They're going to ask you questions like this potentially. So would you want them to ask you that question?
No, let's not, because we'll get people wanting to rent Corvettes and who knows what else.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Okay, car wash?
We do, yeah.
Okay.
The manual one, but they do offer, we do those services, so.
Okay. I'm worried a little bit because of what you just said is that they'll ask about Corvettes. I'm wondering if they'll come in and ask for a car wash without service. Would that be, I assume that's an issue, right?
Oh, well, they pay for it.
I
mean, we do details. We do details. It's like 100. We do a special for details, so.
Awesome. Let's do it. Certified pre-owned vehicles, yes. Collision repair, yes.
Yep.
Okay, courtesy deliveries.
Yep.
I don't know. Okay. New vehicles, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. Which one?
Courtesy deliveries. I mean, what are they referring to as far as we will drive the vehicle that they buy?
Yeah, so I think this was actually a category specific to other businesses. And so we can qualify by what you're just saying is that you could actually deliver a car to their house if they buy it.
And we have.
Okay,
yeah, we have.
Let's do it. So it's tires, I assume. Can they use checks when buying?
No, unless they're certified.
Okay.
No credit cards either. I mean, they could do it for service, but not sales. So I don't know how you break that down.
So we have your service department, which is right here.
It's separate. Okay, then sales don't do it. Nope.
Oh, okay. But it's interesting you say certified checks because I'm wondering if that, like, if a consumer knowing that you have checks, I don't know if that's going to be a hassle, or if, I mean, how many sales have you ever gotten from a certified check?
It actually comes up quite often. People just want to write a check out of their account, and we can't take it. It has to be a certified.
And how many actually do certify it?
I don't know. There's probably a handful a month.
So you do get a couple, like 5 sales at the start.
Yeah.
Then maybe we should, because it at least opens up because let's say you're comparing 2 dealers and one does and one doesn't, or one has it and one doesn't. What do you think? And think about it from your perspective, because I love your perspective as far as shopping to be concerned, to be honest. So what would you do? Like, what would you look at, or how would you, like when you're looking at dealers?
Oh, no, I don't write checks hardly ever, so that's far. That's like, I can't even tell you the last time I wrote a check out.
Okay. Well, let's do it for now, because the goal here is to get more visibility, I would argue, and then if it becomes a problem, if you start to see it become an issue, then we can just take it off, right? And then we'll hopefully decrease visibility. Debit cards?
No, I don't think we do.
Okay. How about NFC Mobile Payments?
I am not 100% sure. I'm going to say no.
Okay. So one thing I want to say about NFC Mobile Payments, or any new technology, newfangled technology, is I wonder if it will potentially get you a newer consumer. You know what I mean? Like a younger, savvier person who buys everything off of their iPhone. You know what I mean? And who actually has $12 trillion in their account because they are a .com millionaire. And so they do everything off of that. So they're not used to using cash. And then they're like, well, I want that Corvette. You know what I mean? So I'm just curious, like, if you guys are open to at least getting that question asked. And then I'm trying to think but then again, if you don't offer it, it might disappoint them too. So
yeah, let me check on that. I know credit cards are definitely out. We definitely don't do that. I'll check on that NFC Mobile Payments. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. And gauge it with your salespeople to see if anybody's ever done that, right? Or I would say put it on their radar to maybe even talk about it. You know what I mean? Because what if that created a different consumer that actually started shopping at your place, right? Because you're like, we're NFC payment friendly. And so, you get this different consumer. I don't know. It might not be big enough right now. Might want to check with me.
Oh, it's coming. So, it's just a matter of time.
It is, right? So that's why, you might get a person coming in and saying, I want to buy this with 3 Bitcoin.
Yep.
And so that's why I worry about this a little bit. But I'm going to click apply here, so it's great that we actually went over this, because hopefully that will expand the visibility. And this is something I was planning on doing the next 2 or 3 months with you anyway. So we got that knocked out. So now let's go back with the product carousel and product stuff. And again, the reason why I was kind of laughing about the product carousel is it's basically products and whatever you want to call it. And so, yes, it's kind of a carousel, but, I'm also concerned, or not concerned, I'm trying to figure out, like you had mentioned too, and let's go back to this before we continue talking about my rant, is wheelchair accessible parking. It didn't show up, which is interesting. It usually does in that other section. Do you guys have wheelchair?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll say yes. Can you get spark plugs here? Yes?
Yep.
Which photo do you think is more helpful?
Neither.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting. What is that left picture?
That is our detail area and some of our service. Yeah, pick that one. They're not going to care about the guy in the truck.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, no, I'm kind of curious because this is really interesting. So you think that this might be easier for them to see you, maybe from the
right?
street?
Yeah. Because people drive by it every day but don't even pay attention. But some people look at the building and they're like, oh, wow, that's an old building. We love the brick. So
interesting. So what that's doing, I believe, and this is just all theoretical because Google's actually just, what they're doing is they're surveying you. You know what I mean? And they're surveying the whole world. And it's kind of interesting because we're doing it for free, and then they're using the data or the information to build what they want to build. And I'll show you where. Yeah, they are. No, they're big time. So synthetic oil?
Yep.
Okay. And then used cars, yes.
Yep.
You buy motorcycles?
We have sold motorcycles and boats, but I would say no. I don't want people calling here asking for a motorcycle.
Okay. Let me do this. I'll do not sure.
Okay, that's fine.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. And then can you buy brakes? Yes?
Yep.
Okay. This is interesting. This is the longest this has ever done this to me, by the way. Do you know if any of the locations belong to this business? Yes?
No. Any location?
Well, you have Cadillac.
Well, yeah, it's the same address, so does it make a difference?
Yeah, because the reason is I think what they're saying is, do you have any other businesses belonging to this business?
All parts, collision, service. Sure, we have.
Exactly.
I mean.
Yeah.
So I say yes, I guess.
Yeah, and to be honest, I don't even know what this question is in here for, but I'm just trying to think of all the things that will get you more exposure again, and
right.
without creating more problems. So I would just recommend yes for now.
Okay.
Can you get the bolt, right? Or did that get
no, we still have the bolt.
Okay. So, and plus the use. Is this part of an auto row? No, right?
No.
Okay. Cool. So now this will pop up on multiple screens, meaning it will show up on yours maybe the next time you go. It will go in Mickey. Mickey might actually want to learn this, and I know he likes learning, right? So the thing is like I said, it's a survey. And because it's a survey, they may take a lot of the results and actually change things like this. So let's say a consumer comes into the photos. They may actually put that interesting photo that you said was more relevant and maybe shift it up here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or they may also change this depending on who and what answers that question and how many times they answer it. So that's why I wasn't sure which photo would be best to be here. Hopefully they just stick with this, because this to me is like the best photo right now. I mean, I haven't gone through the whole thing, but yeah, that's what they're doing, I think. And so now you have an idea. I would just recommend more and more of you guys at the store, at your homes, just answer those questions, because that might give you a higher chance. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yep.
To show up. All right, cool. Then they have these. Have you seen these? The Q&A.
I don't think I probably pay attention.
Okay, and it's completely fine. I bet you 99% of my dealers do not. I brought it up a few times, but even I have a hard time keeping up. So yeah, Barbara Brzezinski, whoever she is, who says, or no, she answered. Sorry, I forget. This is what happens. So a random person will come in and says, I have a symbol coming up on my Cadillac. Basically, they're talking about the dashboard indicator lights that I don't know what it is. How can I find out? I don't know what I need to check. And then Barbara, who's not even a part of the dealership, I assume, is a local guy, right? Says check your owner's manual, see if it's listed. Also, the Cadillac dealer tell them. So fortunately, call before going in. This is a good answer, right? But periodically, I would argue you get some crazies in here, okay? And that's why it behooves you guys to answer these questions before these guys do.
Okay.
I am a local guide level 8 or level 9 because I jumped into this stuff early. So would you like this? I mean, to kind of keep it here?
Yeah, that's fine.
Fine answer. Let's like it. The reason I say that is because hopefully that will keep it here. But you can also see that there's a flag. So let's say the question's silly or the question's wrong, like it just creates problems for you guys. We can flag it, and you do have that ability for almost everything in here. Whether or not Google removes it is another question, right? But just note that these are options for us. And even the answers can be flagged, you see? And then it looks like there's another answer. Richard Geyer, I suggest you take the car to H&H and ask it. So this is great, right? They would be happy to explain it to you, some sort of maintenance. I think this is a better answer for you guys.
Really. We'll take it.
Yeah, I wish I could just shift it, but yeah, that kind of stuff I'm just telling you is happening, and it's actually happening on a higher frequency. And so it's something to be aware of. Now, this also, just to be honest, is why there are arguments that things like this down here are starting to become more and more in the face of the consumer. But let me do this, and let's see, how are we doing on time? 7:33. Any questions on anything, by the way?
Nope.
Okay. So there's a website called Mobile Moxie that does a pretty good job. Let's go H&H. Obviously, we're not searching from Japan. Pennsylvania, let's get to that. This is why it's a pain in the butt. They ask so many questions just to get to what we need. Your zip, or actually, what's the city? Is it Carlisle that's nearby, right?
Yep.
Do you know what their zip is?
Yep, 17013.
17013. Okay. And I'm going to switch it to Carlisle so that hopefully we can see what they see. Carlisle. There it is. And gosh, this is why it's really a pain in the butt. Carlisle.
You just put High Street if you just want a street.
You have a what? Sorry.
Do you need a street or yeah? I was gonna say.
Yeah, High
There's
Street.
always a High Street.
That's smart. Okay. Well, hopefully that registers. Let's see if it works. And so do you see you can get 3 different views?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, it's actually more than that because the advanced gets into even more specific. Android is actually bigger than iOS. I don't know if you know that, but iOS is a different demographic, a richer demographic. So what demographic would you like to see?
Android. We're not a rich area. Plus, I like Android, so I'm over it.
No, I completely agree. Especially for certain brands, you need to be very specific to that, right? So it's trying to show you what a Google Pixel 3 looks like. So here's a good, Robert's doing a good job for you here. He's beaten Lawrence, so you guys are showing up there, which is awesome. And then here's your Google My Business. So it's a little bit different, like I said. I don't think we can click on this. Oh, maybe you can. This is pretty cool. Do you see how when you click on it, you can start to see some of that stuff that we saw on desktop?
Right.
Okay. And so this is why, to a certain degree, and even, we already discounted that other photo, but for some reason consumers are thinking this is important, or it's because it's the only one there.
They look, our photos with our customers on Google My Business get tons and tons and tons of views. It's insane.
Right. They like to see themselves.
What do you do? I made it on internet.
Exactly.
Oh.
So hilarious. But what's cool is this stuff actually shows up right away sometimes. So meaning we just picked the veteran-led stuff and the woman-led stuff, and it's showing up already. And the Q&A stuff we saw already, and then the reviews, etc. So if people are really excited here, they're going all the way to the bottom, right? And they're really looking for things. They're looking also for your competitors. So some of your competitors are actually down here too. And then the repair shops, and then the web results. Now here is our posts, which is really interesting because I haven't looked at this in a while, I'll be honest, because posts typically don't get more than 1 click per 6 months. It's like
they get a ton of views, but nobody clicks through them.
And that's misleading, by the way. So views means every time this shows up, just this.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we can't guarantee that they're doing this. So you see like 16,000 views. Well, that's because they hit the top, but it doesn't mean they went down here. Does that make sense?
Right.
So there's no guarantee that that view exactly means this. I'll tell you that because I would argue on an intuitive standpoint, it's like this is a lot of effort. And, maybe there'll be a study that comes out that really identifies specifically how often they're scrolling this far. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you do that? I know you're really,
I don't.
Okay. So if you're not doing it, then they're not doing it because you look for the best prices, right? And you
I just go to Google and sort by price, whatever I'm looking for. I don't even get into any of this stuff.
Okay. Interesting. So
unless I go to hours, and then I just go to, I don't even look at their hours. I just see if they're open or closed.
That's exactly what I'm thinking too. So again, we're on the same page, but we might also want to think about the others that are not us. And then I don't know who your major demographic is, but definitely look at them and maybe have them even do this to a certain degree on their phones. You can find out what phone they're using. But, Google Analytics can tell you too, so I'll tell you that a little bit later if you want. But yeah, this is the perspective, and this is what we need to kind of pay attention to, I would argue. So that's why I was kind of laughing a little bit, because you see that there's no carousel here. Let's look back at the main part to see if it's actually showing up here. So, and it's not here. It just, I guess it's not here. This is not the carousel, by the way. This is your post.
Right.
These are videos. So the next call that we were going to have, I was going to tell you guys we need to get on YouTube, just so you know, if you haven't really thought about it, or if you guys are, not doing it.
Yeah, we have a YouTube. Yeah.
Okay. We're going to need to work on that some more, just a heads up, and I'll talk to you guys more about that later. Let's see. Yeah, it's not showing up anywhere. Just make sure when I do this. Yeah, this is going to that page that we just talked about. So you don't see the carousel on mobile, and that represents typically your majority. So you will see it here, like I said. Well, sorry, if we create it. Oh, you know what? Let me take that back.
Because it's not created. I was going to say,
yeah,
do we need to go to a dealer that has one?
Yeah, maybe we'll do that. So here, I can do that for you. Lone Star.
And that's the thing. If we're doing carousel, do we need to do post? I mean, which?
Well, that's my big point. Is what
drives the most?
Not only drives the most, do they replace each other? And I'll be honest, that's one reason why I don't completely say I'm right, is because it takes a ton of effort. I mean, and I'm not trying to excuse my time, because as much as Nikki does, I will do whatever it takes. But what I have found is it just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense in a lot of situations. And then sometimes it pops up on the radar, and then you're like, oh, okay, maybe I need to get on this. So, but so far I've not seen that in all my efforts. So let's go to Houston. I do not know Houston's, but we can find out. 77065. And they limit this, by the way. They limit your views on this, and so you can't use this more than a few times a month or day or something. I can't remember. We can at least see Lone Star. They already might have maxed us out. So, okay, good. Oh, this is okay. There we go. Good. So it's working. So we don't see the carousel here. They're showing your post. They show it under. They do both, so that's good. So the carousel's right under. So what do you think?
Okay. I don't know. I mean, I just say one takes away from the other.
It sort of
I
does.
guess if you have different ones, like if they're trying to promote service one area and their vehicles another, maybe it looks like. Oh, no, that's lease.
So let me show you, and I'm happy to do it. So let me go to Lone Star just to see if we have an example. Lone Star Chevrolet. Let's go into the info rather. And the other reason why I don't like these is because they don't provide insights on this. Like, we have no idea what they're doing.
Right.
And you'll just anecdotally hear, maybe I saw it here. And that's why it's very frustrating. I mean, the posts have a little bit of data, but again, it's misleading. So you see, I built them out here, and it takes a little bit of effort, because what you need to do is you need to have the right product name. You create categories of products. So you want to, frankly, let's see if we have it here. No, I didn't. Is we'll put in terms of category, right? Put in the category. I put new Chevy trucks, new Chevy sports cars, because right here, and I think it will show up similarly. Do you see this? Explore categories.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So we need to think of categories too, and so strategically, we have to kind of think through this. And so this is a lot more comprehensive than these guys who don't do this every day don't think about. And then you have to have a product price. And good news, we can do range, but a lot of time what's appealing is that bottom, I guess. But maybe price range might not be bad, because that's still exposed at the bottom. Obviously, product description, learn more, or any of these options, and then a specific page that they have to go to. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it is another version of the BDP, I guess. Yet it's within a category of products, and it's redundant, and we don't know. But I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like the website, I guess, too, is that we're just kind of hitting on things over time, and then kind of, praying to God that they actually go. And so maybe, I don't know, as I'm talking about it right now, maybe we should put at least maybe 3 or so. So maybe you give me like 3, or if you want to do it, it's up to you. If you want to control what's in there, because the other thing is, what if I make a mistake in some kind of wording unless I get exact direction?
Well, I mean, when I'm doing my posts, they're not going to be any different than Google My Business posts. So it's just a matter of probably carrying them over. I mean, if I do
Cool.
one sales, one service, one something like every month, it wouldn't be.
Too bad.
But for people to
Okay.
scroll through 10, I don't know.
Well, maybe the 3 most compelling offers, because let's look at it again. You see 3, right?
3, yeah.
And in the mobile, you kind of see 3 too. So.
Well, that's why I'm thinking if I just hit on all the departments, one like sales, service, and something else, and then it may be whatever they're in the market for. But.
Well, what do you think, just out of curiosity, I mean, like, priority-wise, is fixed ops more important or sales more important?
I think it depends on which is booming and which isn't.
Interesting. Which makes a lot of sense.
Every month is a little different. Sometimes service can hold their own. I mean, body shop, we haven't had any bad weather. We just haven't had, the accidents, and service has kind of been slow, but then sales is slow because we have no inventory right now. So,
okay.
I mean, I think it's month by month, honestly.
Then let's do this, let's think this through a little bit, and then we'll start with a fixed strategy that we'll start with. Because right now, I don't know, maybe I didn't see it, but let's look at your post. It looks like you're doing cars right now, right, for posts?
We should be service in there too, yeah.
So, but the point, I guess, is if you think about it from a strategic standpoint, you kind of decide whatever it is, and then you pump that in there, I guess, because you made an awesome point, which was when we're here, it switched. But if we can remember what it looked like, it was the post, and then it was the carousel. So I would argue the posts are probably dominating the carousel at this point, and then you determine what's most important and just put those in the top, and then secondary importance on the bottom with the carousel, and then you just kind of switch it month to month.
Right.
Does that work?
Yeah, because I hate to duplicate it. So if I'm doing 10 offers on there, why don't I just cut it down and then take the other 3 and move them to?
Totally.
And then they'll all get exposure without scrolling.
Exactly. So, I mean, honestly, what you talked about makes so much sense. So decide fix for sales, and then put those 3, and then decide on the other remaining to put those 3. So maybe this is an opportunity, because then it just at least gives you more exposure to the other category.
Right. Okay.
Cool. And so do you need help on going through this, or is it intuitive?
No, I think I'll be able to do that. I already do the Google My Business. I'm just going to wait till March at this point, because our offers expire this weekend, so I'm not going to go through the hassle of dealing with it right now.
Yeah. Hey, I completely agree.
It takes a lot of time, so.
It does, because, one thing about, I guess, my help for you guys is I'm trying to pay attention to whatever is bringing in most traffic, but I'm also trying to figure out what's converting into sales. And that's the tough one, right? Because it doesn't have data, or it has very little to help me understand, except for this being 46%, these being, a click every 30 days. Like, why are you doing that if it's not doing anything, even though I guess it's getting a little bit exposure? And like I mentioned in the email, it's growing. Like, maybe at some point people will get used to it. It's hard to say. Maybe they'll get as used to them going to your site, but maybe it's us training them, so that might be part of it too. So think about that all, if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, that's just what I was just wondering if they're not trying to do, you know, when you do the Amazon thing, yeah, your product is there, but then it says other products you might be interested in. So maybe that's their concept. Right. Or you went here, but how about this or whatever.
Right.
Their thought process is.
Completely agree. Agree on that one too. So I don't know. It's still kind of up in the air. I would say, because you're smart, is just intuitively think through things like a shopper, and then just try to match it as much as possible. I use that, and it usually works.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, I mean, like what you're mentioning is people also search for to a certain degree, which gives us at least also some extra insight to what Google's trying to do with comparison and stuff like that, and potentially where they're leading traffic away from you. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know if you guys pay attention to this, but this is also important too, right? I don't know what H&H Chevy Twins means. Does that make any sense in some respects?
I have no idea. Nope.
Got it, just for fun. Okay, totally different. Interesting. Yeah, it's yeah. Anyway,
they're twins.
Yeah, they're literally twins, and it's and you're right underneath them. We'll wrap for your Facebook pages, so that I guess is good. Hopefully, I don't know. Maybe you need to put pictures of these girls on.
I was gonna say, yeah, maybe they need to be our symbol here.
Spokespeople, yeah, spokespeople. Maybe they, because I mean, this is gonna be bad, and I hope I don't get in trouble for saying it. But there's a lot of guys who look at girls, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they will do it just for that, and maybe that will turn into a sale.
Standing by a car, they'll buy it.
Exactly. If the girls say you should buy it, they might buy it.
Yep.
And then
maybe we can get them to do a video for us.
Oh my God, that would be. Anyway. I think you're on to something there.
Buy from H&H Chevy, the H&H twins.
We'll talk to Mickey about it. I don't know how. I mean, he has a daughter, right?
He's got 4, yeah.
4? Really?
Yep. Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Well, maybe they can work something out. I don't know. So, okay. Well, that's very, very interesting. That could be something you leverage. All right. Well, back to the carousel stuff. Is that helpful? Do you want to go through any of the other features? Like I said, there's a bunch, or is that too much for a day?
I think we'll just do 3 other products and put the carousel up there just so, we're doing it and see what happens. I mean,
cool.
It's free at this point, so it doesn't hurt anything. It's just putting in the effort to do it. So
exactly.
One more thing to remember.
Yeah. Exactly. So put it on the list.
Hey, on their products, do they expire too, or do we have to just remove them? Do you know?
They stay. They stay.
Okay, so that's something we do have to remove.
That's the reason why it's kind of a pain. Is it just stays there, And so I guess you have to think more long term with this, and that's why I don't like the price. But the good news, actually, that range thing, I didn't see it last time. So that might have been like, oh, okay, we need to get smart. And so maybe the range got popped in recently. And like I said, it's changing constantly. It's killing me because it's
this is where we need to put the H&H twins. They'll be there forever.
if they're the product, oh, my God. Oh, that'd be so hilarious. We'll call it a service. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh,
that's
goodness.
Hilarious. Yeah. But yeah, the services are available too, and they're a little bit different. Just as a heads up. So.
Of course.
Yeah. So anyway, we can go through that, or you can experiment. But that's what it is,
okay.
Susan. So I don't know if that helped, or if you feel like there's other things you need to learn on that. But, yeah, I'm still mixed feelings. But I think after talking to you today, I might even be leaning towards now doing a little bit, at least 3 for my dealers, just because, it sits below. And then you also just exposed something that I didn't think about, but maybe the strategy, like versus cars and cars versus fixed, right? Or you could do used versus new versus used.
Right.
Too,
well, yeah,
right?
because, everyone's starting to get their taxes, so then it's a pre-owned market, and the car's under 10 grand, or whatever it is for the month. But
interesting.
I don't know.
Okay.
We're always pushing something.
Well,
or maybe when people are searching for tax refunds, maybe we need to put it all over there. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I don't know. You're right. I mean, so maybe the post should be. We're sitting here at 226. Maybe starting. I mean, when do you guys feel like tax or people who are interested in tax stuff start talking to you
Well, a
guys
lot of
about
people
tax?
already have their refunds at this point. So, I mean, you see a lot of dealers using it, and I think it's only a search tactic. That's what everyone's searching for, then that's what you need to be putting in, I guess. I don't know.
Huh. Okay. And do you guys have any special offerings on that? I mean, do you take advantage of it in any way?
We don't. We just kind of put the words out there just because, that's what they're searching for. Just like Black Friday, when everyone's searching for Black Friday, of course, everyone has a Black Friday sale. It's just.
Are those consumers painful, the tax refund people?
It depends. It's actually helpful for people that have credit challenges, because if you're doing a credit acceptance deal, they need money down. And a lot of times that's the only time of the year they have money down.
Okay. The only reason I ask that, and I don't want to be discriminatory by any means, because we will obviously want to help those people too, right? But what I know from working in the convenience store industry, because my parents own convenience stores a lot, is that long term, these are people who are going to die because they buy cigarettes, they buy alcohol, they buy basically products that are not good for you. And so I'm just kind of curious in your funnel, because in the long term for Vicky's daughter who takes us over, is maybe to kind of have the strategy focus a little bit more on the people who are kind of healthy, who are actually more long-term focused, they're more financially sound, so that they can come back and buy again and again and again. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there, just kind of talking out loud. But at the same time, for the short term, right, we still need to take advantage of it. And I asked that question because you could literally do something like we'll match 10% or something like that. Or and then you'll literally get a bigger pool of those folks, because then they're like, wow, I got 110% of my whatever, even though that 10% is just kind of a discount that Chevy gives, right?
Right.
So, yeah, and I hate to manipulate that situation, but that's unfortunately
that's how it works.
Do.
Every retailer does it.
So I don't know, just a thought.
Okay.
But at least you I think you really exposed some stuff today. So thank you. It was a two-way street today.
No problem.
So yeah, let's look at it, and let's try to keep track of stuff to hopefully have a better idea, because unfortunately you have to do it manually. And moving forward, just as a heads up for you and Mickey, I'm doing my best to manually track some of these things for you, at least the phone calls. And so on the next call, I should hopefully have year-over-year data. I can't remember if I did that last call, but I try to do phone call volume at least. And so some of the stuff we have to do manually, and it's basically here in Insights that we have to do the manual stuff. You can download it, just a heads up, from here. Let me show you. If you go into the home and then you click on, what is it? No, maybe it's this. You have a different view. So let me just show you how it looks like here. So in here, you have a smaller view. I assume you have like 2 or 3 here, right?
Yep.
And you click on the dealership, and then you click on Actions. You see that?
Okay. Yep.
And then you click on Insights. And then you have Discovery Insights, which is all the search stuff and all that, whatever, that's I think really inflated and actually not that great, but maybe they're changing, because like I said, they're changing things all the time. You can get your photos data, but I focus on your phone calls because it's your conversions, right? So, and you can download it. I'll show you how they do it. You can do it any time frame.
Okay.
So I download that, and then I compare it year over year.
Okay.
So that's how I determine my efficacy, or how successful I am for you guys. Obviously, it's going to be more long-term, i.e. I won't know until maybe a year from now. But but for you, you could still compare, like literally here in the next few months versus your previous. Who did you guys use? You guys used Naked Lime?
Yeah.
Naked Lime?
Yep, Naked Lime.
Okay. Well, I'll have another conversation with you on that later, but hopefully, and because I just used up your hour, that was helpful. Any questions or thoughts?
Yep, nope. I'll start working on this next month, and we'll see. Like I said, we have a GM rep that comes in, kind of just goes over, best practices that she's seeing in other dealers and for us to review it, which is fine. We're always open to looking at new opportunities, and sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. But
yeah, she was pretty comprehensive. When I went through that and I watched the video partially, I was like, wow, that's a lot. Like, meaning, and I'm a little worried that it overwhelms you, right? Or like you have so many things to do, right? And like, I
don't have anything else to do, right?
Exactly. So,
but if we just, do a couple a month or try to change, a couple things a month, then we'll see what happens.
Well, let's do this. Just for you and I, let's try to map out the rest of the year. Maybe not necessarily here in the next week, but let's try and then we can also have some steps, like, to kind of check on ourselves and help us keep a little bit organized. And then it'll be a little bit easier so that we don't do random things, I guess, or things that, we still need to be open to change, right? Because everything shifts. You don't know if the coronavirus is literally going to knock the world down, which I feel like it's going to in the next 3 to 6 months.
I know.
Oh, you wouldn't believe. I have some stories, but I'll tell you more later.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Basically, have you seen zombie movies?
No.
Or zombie stuff? No? Like not?
No. I don't have any time for that. I'm too busy doing this stuff.
Exactly. Well, you can imagine this, the end of the world kind of stuff where everybody's not on the streets. That's happening right now in China, in Korea. I just heard Italy just started getting hit with it. It's starting to happen, yes. So economically, just give Mickey a heads up. It's scary. That's why I think we had that 1,000-point drop in the Dow yesterday. So
yeah, I'm sure.
Or whatever it was, right? So, okay. Anyway, I've talked a lot, taken up a lot of your time, so I'll let you go. I guess we'll just follow up. Is that cool?
Okay, sounds perfect. Thank you very much for your help.
Oh, anytime. All right, have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.